Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Due to the current heat wave, the Polish Institute of Meteorology and Water Economy has announced a second-level warning for 14 out of the 16 districts in Poland. Europe is struggling with high temperatures because of the so-called Spanish plume, a wave of hot air coming from the Iberian Peninsula. We asked the citizens of Warsaw how they were dealing with the soaring temperatures.
I'm used to these conditions. I come from the south where such temperatures occur every day. I get up at noon and go out in the evenings. It's terrible. I spend hours by the air conditioner every day. Cold beer, water with lemon and chilling out of town. Drinking fluids is the key. Mineral waters or some electrolytes would be perfect. Eating fruits in such conditions is also a good idea because they make fluids stay in our bodies longer. Still, if you feel bad, you should pay a visit to a doctor. We've been having sudden heat waves in summer for several years. It's not the first hot summer in Poland. We're now experiencing a wave of hot air coming from southwest, from Africa to be exact. The whole of Europe struggles with hot weather. Spain, France, Germany. A temperature of 32 degrees Celsius was recorded behind the Arctic Circle. It's all connected with climate change, as the scientists say, and I believe it will only get worse in the future.
Europe's immigration problem will most likely influence the outcome of the EU parliamentary elections in May. That's according to the Czech Prime Minister Andrej Babiš. The immigration crisis, which began in 2015, is one of the biggest issues dividing Europe, with countries of the Visegrad Group opposed to the open-door policy propagated by Angela Merkel.
The situation will change rapidly after the EU elections. The silent majority will vote against immigration. It will be a substantial shift. The Czech Prime Minister has the same standpoint as Mateusz Morawiecki, Prime Minister of Poland. The two leaders have stressed many times that the migration crisis is of utmost importance. Andrej Babiš believes that this issue will influence the outcome of the elections and that the EU will soon tighten its immigration regulations. We have to defend our territory, we have to defend our culture, we have to defend our history, our ideals. We have one civilization here in Europe and we have to defend it. These people coming through Quetta, attacking the Spanish police, are not coming to Europe to work. They're coming here to get money from the social programs of some countries. Andrej Babiš also stated that he wants to see more attention given to the Schengen zone and that there shouldn't be a two-speed Europe. Everybody is speaking about the Eurozone, which is very funny. We should speak about Schengen. We must have a strategy. Will all of Europe be in Schengen? Will we have influence in the Western Balkans, or will they be under the influence of China, Turkey, Russia and Saudi Arabia? If we want influence, then we need to include Croatia, Bulgaria, Romania and make the entire continent a Schengen area. This is much more important than the Eurozone. It's silly to speak about a two-speed Europe. It doesn't exist. How do you measure it?
It was on August the 8th, 74 years ago, that one of the most famous Polish war heroes was killed in the Warsaw Uprising. 21-year-old Antoni Godlewski killed a large number of German soldiers before finally being mowed down by machine gun fire. The extraordinary feats of the young insurgent gave rise to many legends for years to come.
Antoni Godlewski quickly gained the nickname Antek Rozpylacz, meaning Antek the Sprayer. It was given to him for being one of very few insurgents in possession of the famous Sten submachine gun. With it, Antek managed to kill 18 German soldiers in the first week of the Warsaw Uprising. His speciality was hunting for German snipers, and his most often used strategy to find them involved jumping from rooftop to rooftop. He worked in a team with a 13-year-old Jewish orphan named Zalman Hochman, better known as Mickey the Bandit. Young Mickey's role was to act as Antek's spotter, be his liaison with the battalion's commanders and provide Antek with much-needed ammunition. Both Hochman and his 14-year-old brother Peretz Hochman survived the Warsaw Uprising. Zalman passed away in Israel in 1996. Antek the sprayer wasn't as fortunate. He was mortally wounded from a series of machine gun fire when looking out of a gate on Jerusalem Avenue 23, ahead of an assault on German positions in a nearby cafe. He was buried in a backyard in the vicinity, followed to his grave by a large grieving crowd. A year later, he was exhumed and reburied in the Warsaw Military Cemetery, Powązki. His brave actions at such a young age immortalized him to other insurgents of the Warsaw Uprising. It's believed that he served as the inspiration for the famous statue of the Little Insurgent, located in Warsaw's Old Town. Unveiled in 1983, it pays tribute to all children, teenagers and young adults who fought in the uprising. A street in Warsaw is also named after Antek the Sprayer, whose legacy lives on to this day. The 21-year-old war hero remains an icon and a role model for Warsaw's patriotic youth.
The claim that social media giants coordinate their actions and specifically ban or downgrade the reach of conservative media has been circling for quite some time. That speculation has been further inflamed after the collective decisions of Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Spotify to ban the popular media platform InfoWars for unspecified hate speech.
The case of InfoWars is the most recent large-scale purge of conservative, non-mainstream online news outlets, the controversial site belonging to Alex Jones, who is often accused of spreading conspiracy theories. It was removed from several of the biggest social media websites on the internet in less than 12 hours. Alex Jones' popularity online has long been a thorn in the side of mainstream media.
The whole thing was formulaic. First demonize InfoWars, lie about us, build a straw man, then sue us to add credibility to that, then have a few fake strikes on YouTube and Facebook with nebulous terms like bullying children and Islamophobia. And then voila, 2 weeks later, ban InfoWars completely off of dozens of major platforms where we were all in the top 5 or top 10 news feeds. CNN, MSNBC, the rest of the dying news system like the New York Times and the Washington Post, groups that are propped up by the Mexican kingpin in the case of the New York Times, Carlos Slim, in the case of the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, they can't allow something like InfoWars with a fraction of the crew or the money to be ranked higher than them on iTunes or on YouTube.
The popular InfoWars presenter Paul Joseph Watson argues that the decision was taken to encourage conservatives to engage in online self-censorship.
Well, this is what they're trying to do, Alex. They're obviously shifting the Overton window even further. They're probably not going to outright ban a bunch more people immediately. They will eventually, obviously. They'll ban everyone. But in the short term, this is about changing the Overton window, shifting the Overton window to the point where conservatives moderate their opinions, where they moderate their speech, just to ensure the survival of their platforms.
Following the previous bans on numerous right-wing profiles online, such as Milo Yiannopoulos and Tommy Robinson, voices were raised that social media giants need to be declared a public utility. US President Donald Trump has also toyed with the idea. The debate is likely to return after the purge of InfoWars.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather and then join me after that for Poland Daily Business.